I know what you're thinking. I can hear what you're thinking right now. You're thinking, oh my god, the dog can't possibly be playing more of this game for like the fourth day in a row. And the fact of the matter is, I am. I am playing this game for the fourth day in a row. And what's further is I'm playing this game with chat on a second monitor for the first time. We finally did it. We found a monitor just floating around out there, and now that we have a second monitor, we are truly in a new era of streaming for me. And really, just to set the sort of tone for the day for the stream, here's another incredibly massive vape hit that may or may not be picked up by the stream. Now you can tell you set your noise gates properly if you can take a big ol' vape hit into the microphone and nothing bad happens. So I'm feeling pretty good about this stream right now. I have once again found another playlist of supposedly DMCA-free music. According to the person who cultivated this particular playlist, they tried to find some of the best no copyright music they could find, so your stream could sound "enjoy not overplayed trash." Their wording, not mine. So we're gonna get the music on, and it's time for more goddamn power washing. Well, we've got vocals, which is immediately something. I believe last time we were cleaning a fire department and we had finished specifically the test tower they use. Or at least the interior of it. I do have to wonder how the fire department got so incredibly fucked up while all of the fences are 100% clean. That seems kind of unlikely. Alright, we're immediately a little too loud. Alright. Turn that down. I won't be overpowered by the goddamn music on my own stream. Let's get one thing straight right now. Alright. Thus begins another incredibly entertaining and productive stream of me secretly catching up on Power Washer Simulator during what is supposed to be stream time. Because I'll be honest, everyone. I do have a little bit of an ulterior motive in playing so much Power Washer Simulator on stream recently. And it's that I actually deleted my progress without... Yeah, Harper, I'm still spraying my jet around. It's a power washer, but... You know, you can call it whatever you like. I'm not gonna be a pedant. Another RV? Uglier than a chihuahua chewing a wasp. But it would have been your little wasp chewing choo-choo. Why do you want an RV, Harper? What's the plan there? In any case, the outer walls of this test tower sure do seem to be lenient in when they'll give me completion dings. I appreciate it, because otherwise it would be annoying to wash such a large one-object surface. Some of the one-object surfaces are incredibly lenient, and others just aren't, and I don't really know... See? I don't really know why. I felt like the skate park was kind of kicking my ass the other day, but then... Yeah. Maybe I'm being clowned. Ember Woods. It doesn't seem like a great name for a forest. Like, I wouldn't want to put my child... I wouldn't want to bring my child to Our Lady of Asphyxiation's nursery, you know? I wouldn't necessarily want to go into Ember Woods for very much the same reasons. It just seems like a bad... It seems just bad to tempt fate in your name like that, you know? Definitely glad that I turned the music down quite substantially. Though now I'm not sure if it's coming across properly on stream. The perils of being a Twitch streamer. You'll inadvertently have to learn how to mix your sound properly. You'll have to learn how decibels work. And let me tell you, that's one of the most nightmarish experiences a person can have. I'm aided simply by the fact that I have an electronic sound blaster for a brain, you know? Yeah, for those of you who weren't aware, my brain was technically built by Yamaha in the year 29999999. They then sent me back in time as an act of sabotage. Or at least that's what I tell people. I don't know why else I have all these audio processors. Because otherwise I just use them to make incredibly realistic fart with reverb noise. I can't play those on Twitch or else they'll ban me. I don't know if you've ever actually properly read the Twitch DMCA, but they actually say it right there in the terms of service. No fart with reverb. Probably gonna ban me for that Morbius trailer that I played last week, come to think of it. I say last week, but it was certainly almost closer to a month ago at this point. I don't experience time in the same way that humans do, is the only explanation that I can give you. From my perspective, I'm actually always streaming. It's a little bit of a nightmare. You know, I have to say, some part of me feels as if a Hoodie Allen song is not, in fact, DMCA free. Well, I mean, it's on the playlist, so I guess we'll find out again if this stream gets taken down. It's good that Power Washer Simulator is relatively low stakes, so if I have to just straight up torpedo one of my VODs, it won't be that big of an issue. Though it does occur to me, maybe I should look into having Gub set me up with a subtitle program or something like that, so people can, you know, still sort of tell what I'm saying when my audio gets devoured by the Millennium copyright robots. In my time, they're actually real robots, and they eat sound, just like food. Fact. Water is not loud enough, in my opinion. There we go. That's actually a little too loud looking over at my audio mixer. Because it's definitely constantly pushing the sound to its absolute peak, even with the music playing. I do have to wonder, though, how they managed to keep all of the pavement so clean, while every other part of this fire department is as disgusting as it comes. Like, did someone land a helicopter there and just blow all of the dust away with an incredibly fucking powerful VTOL or something like that. 'Cause that's how I do most of my dusting. I just find one of the old military planes that the Empire produced that, like, produces so much downdraft that it straight up peels the flesh off your bones if they try to land it in the desert. Those things will really clean anything you hover them over for long enough. Especially if you get like iron filings and you scatter a bunch of iron filings underneath the thing. Then you can basically power wash anything. Even waterproof stuff. Floor in here is still gross. Let's see. Did I just leave some footprints on the stairs and not clean them up? Oh, this whole thing is ground floor. That might also be the issue. Under here? There we go. All right. I do have to wonder what the official industry name for the instrument we are currently hearing in this song is. Specifically the EDM instrument that I've heard quite a lot of in the recent years, where it sounds like someone just going dwa. Like someone's just going dwa. Like it's in a lot of music. And I don't dislike it. I just want to know, like, if I wanted to make that noise in a music program, what would that thing be called? What would that noise be called? Or is it just someone custom tuning a synth in order to make that noise every time? Like, if I open a synth program, I don't think they're going to just have an option that's just dwonk, you know? Yeah, this instrument is the dwonk. It makes a dwonk noise. What do you mean? Sorry, I don't know what part of dwonk noise was unclear. It makes a dwonk noise. It goes dwonk. Again, these outside walls are incredibly lenient, but like the inside walls were not at all. Power Washer Simulator can be a very strange game sometimes. Well, anyway. Off to go clean the roof of the fire station, I guess. Can I just jump up here? No. Thankfully, they have provided me with an integrated ladder. It's part of the building. How wonderful. Once again, I can't help but feel that a Hoodie Allen song is not in fact exempt from the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Every playlist a gamble, I suppose. I mean, the guy who put playlists together does have his channel linked in the description of the playlist. So I guess I could just go see if his channel is DMCA banned. And that would settle the issue rather handily, wouldn't it? You know, I prefer the gamble. I will also say the first time that I ever heard Hoodie Allen, because I have heard the dude's music before, was actually it's a remix of a Marina and the Diamonds song of all things, or rather maybe it was a cover that he featured on. It's a separate version of the same song that he happens to exist on. I don't know what you'd call it. I'm not gonna name it. You can find it if you look. But whatever it was kind of the only time that I've ever heard his music before now. And, it sounds like if Animal Crossing was about living in LA. That's what his music sounds like, in my opinion. Not in a bad way, but it definitely does sound like if Animal Crossing was about living in LA instead of on a small island somewhere. Actually, is Animal Crossing New Horizons technically a game about, like, libertarian seasteading now? Like, if you want to take the cynical CinemaSins reading of Animal Crossing New Horizons, like, I'm sure you could make an argument about how it's about, I don't know, moving away to go live in the ocean because property prices are too damn high. I don't know how the loan system works in that game. I haven't actually had the time to play it because I've gone into my my detailed history of issues with Animal Crossing in the past and how my brain just doesn't work to play Animal Crossing. Algernon Evans. What-oh, is this the water jet, people? I'm having a frightful time with the Ordinary. Any chance you could give it a quick whiz? Not with you calling it that. Can't help but notice your ad says power wash. You do realize that involves hot water. You change the wording on your ad to pressure wash unless you're planning a what? Unless you're planning an upgrade soon. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true, Fire Chief. Hang on. We're gonna go have a gander, a look-see. I have Googled the term power wash. It's basically just power wash simulator reviews. According to Wikipedia, pressure washing or power washing is the use of a high-pressure water spray to remove loose paint, mold, grime, dust, mud, and dirt from surfaces such as buildings. The volume of mechanical pressure washer is expressed in gallons or liters per minute, often designed into the pump and not variable. So he's wrong. He's just not correct. I'm really upset now, actually, that as I am doing him the solid of cleaning his fire station, he is having the gall to correct me on what power washing is versus what pressure washing is. I should charge you triple for this job because of that, sir. Like, I haven't submitted my invoice yet. We didn't discuss rates. I could just tell him that it costs $10,000 to power wash a police station. I guess this is a small town, though, so if I piss off the guy who owns the police station, I'm probably also pissing off, like, the husband of the baker and the son-in-law of the post office postmaster. So I guess if I ever want to get my mail again, I should probably just put up with this guy's bullshit and not freak out, huh? I don't need the money in real life, but in the game I do need the money to buy more pressure washers, so... It's not like I can just, neglect the money at this point. This fire station, again, is feeling very lenient with a lot of its areas, I have to say. Maybe it's just because we're not at the point of the game where they start adding, like, the oil stains and whatnot that even with the highest pressure require you go over them multiple times. I don't think I'm going to be able to actually balance the music audio for the stream at all. Like, it occurs to me, even as I am considering adjusting the volume of the music slightly, because it does seem a little low, it might just get higher on the next track, because there is no guarantee. Yep. There is no guarantee of audio equalization on any of these tracks. I gotta say, I don't really have much to say about any of the tracks that I've played so far this time around. A lot of the video game music, at least, was directing me to talk about video games. But if I have to hear, like, the Mario Overworld theme, but made dubstep one more time, I'm going to lose my goddamn mind. I'm gonna heap my gourd. I'm gonna fucking lose it. So I can't rightly keep playing those all the time. Again, that one felt very disgustingly lenient. I feel a little bit bad killing all this lichen. We could start a nice rooftop garden out of all this lichen. I'm sure they have guides about how to farm lichen. It really is a remarkable organism. It is apparently the symbiotic interaction of fungus and moss. Two life forms that, quite frankly, terrify me, and are part of the reason why my pocket universe that I simulate inside of myself is more or less devoid of life, except for all of those ninja fans that I've been eating alive. I don't want a lichen developing inside of me. Or a moss. Or a mold. They'll probably get smarter than me, and then where will I be? I guess in the exact same place, but full of a fungus that is smarter than me, which is not something I want. You know, this game has a challenge mode, specifically centered around only using a certain amount of water in every level. And that's got me wondering, do fire departments get in trouble if they use too much water? Like, if I'm head of the fire department and I roll up with all the handsome burly firemen, and I get to fighting a fire, right? If I use too much water, and like the mayor can't have a hot shower because I've accidentally sprayed all the water in town on the fire, can I get in trouble for that? Is there a quota on how much water you're supposed to use to extinguish any given fire? I think fire departments are very important because fire bad, as Frankenstein says. I'm just wondering how they measure metrics for success with fire departments. Because deaths is a pretty grim metric, right? Like, number of people who burned to death due to the fire department. Because then you have to have someone who explicitly assigns blame for the fire-related deaths, and that sounds like an awful job. But if it's just like amount of water used, then I feel like you've kind of got your incentives crossed up a little bit there. Because if you're trying to save water as a fire department, I think you may have your priorities a little weird, you know? Well, at least their siding isn't heinously rusted. Could be a lot worse. A lot of the heavier rust is genuinely awful to try and get off until you get the professional and heavy grade power washers. Alright. Back to the green nozzle, which is unsettlingly and heinously useful for this job. I know that I was shit-talking it not but one stream ago, talking about how I don't like to use it. And yet, as my strategy and mastery of the game increases on my second playthrough, I am in fact seeing that the green nozzle is incredibly helpful. And to hate any one nozzle in the power washer box is pure folly. They are all tools in the journey towards cleanly. Doc, it's Leonard Cal's dad. Why don't you come around? I got something filthy dirty for you. Sorry, the text in this game really just completely derailed my trail of thought. I don't think that's ever gonna change. So I am immediately beginning to see the same problem that I had the first time around with the green nozzle, which is that the green nozzle takes 9 million years to get rid of moss. At least with the aiming mode, I can sort of pass over the same areas really quickly. Before, you just had to give yourself motion sickness in order to do what I'm doing right now. It was awful. The aiming mode is genuinely quite a positive quality of life feature. I know I was waxing poetic about how good it was at the end of last stream, but it bears repeating. Because otherwise, I would have to be just in miserable pain as I do what I'm doing. As I'm doing what I'm doing right now. I'm not a natural language processing robot, okay? I'm allowed to get tongue-tied from time to time. Shut up. I have a feeling bricks aren't really that easy to clean with a pressure washer, though. Some part of me just feels like bricks would be porous enough that it would take, like, either a lot of work or literally removing pieces of the brick with water in order to clean them. Something just feels wrong about how quickly we've been cleaning a lot of these bricks. I don't think I've ever had an easy time in my life cleaning bricks, personally. Then again, I have never used a 50,000 gallon per minute pressure washer, or whatever the hell this thing is rated for. 3,000? I think 50,000 gallons would be a little bit too much. I'm pretty sure that's more than an actual literal fire hose, even. funny. I've been cleaning this roof and thinking about how wonderful it is to be so close to the end of this job. But in reality, I still have to wash the entire exterior of this fire station. And the second that I jump off of this roof, like, the entirety of the building is going to be disgusting once again. Once again, that felt a little bit too lenient. But I guess if the fire chief says good enough, I'll say good enough too. You know, maybe I shouldn't be complaining about the game being particularly lenient on levels, because the alternative is that the game kicks my ass and constantly asks that I get every tiny speck of dirt in it, and I played the game before they balanced how quickly things auto-completed, and it was awful. It was slow and not very fun at all. As I'm paying attention to the noise that it makes passing over heavy spots of grime versus completely clean areas, I do have to wonder if this game's sound design holds up to wearing, like, incredibly expensive reference headphones, you know? Like, if you have those headphones that cost $4,000 and perfectly replicate whatever sound data they're given, does this game still actually sound good? Like, did they record these pressure washer noises live from a real pressure washer, do you think? I've always thought Foley artists were really cool and excellent. So I have to wonder if they actually did live Foley on a pressure washer for this game. Because they've certainly managed to create a lot of quite enjoyable sound effects, like the click of the nozzle back and forth, the snap of changing the nozzle. Like, the sound design in this game is very tightly done, even if there's quite literally no music at all. And I'm sorry if the lo-fi annoys some people, but quite frankly, if I don't have music on while I'm playing this game, my head starts to hurt really badly. Because my head doesn't work if I'm not listening to music while also playing video games. And since I can't actually listen to my own music without causing, you know, the digital Millennium robots to turn my family into evenly sized portions of meat cubes, this is the compromise that we've had to come to. Who would graffiti a firehouse? Like, I understand graffitiing cop cars and, like, the local police station, because that's cool and excellent. But the fire department's just trying to keep you from burning to death and inhaling carbon monoxide to death. I would not harass the local firefighters with spray paint. Why do that when, again, you could be harassing the local cops with spray paint instead? This doesn't go for firefighters who are sympathetic to the cops. You guys are not cool. If you want to be a cool firefighter, you have to hate cops even though you guys technically work together. Because cops suck and don't help anyone, and firefighters help people, because fire bad. More Hoodie Allen tracks. My anxiety grows. Gonna wake up tomorrow, there's going to be 400 red notifications on my Twitch, and it's not gonna be Raid Shadow Legends asking me to do a promotional for him. Oh no, no. It's going to be Hoodie Allen's paramilitary waiting to black bag me and fucking murder me. This is actually genuinely starting to get to me now. I'm not enjoying any of this music either. Ah, he can dance good for a white kid. What do we get if we look up stream safe game music? Do we get anything there? There we go, just a collection of popular game OSTs that are safe to play on stream. Oh, excellent! It's the Risk of Rain soundtrack. Now, Risk of Rain is a good goddamn video game. And as far as I'm aware, does not have Hoodie Allen in it whatsoever. Though, I could be wrong about that. If you can find Hoodie Allen in Risk of Wayne, I will cede that point to you. But now that I have had some DMCA, supposedly stream-safe music with vocals in the background, I'm realizing that having vocals is not actually necessarily a good thing. Having vocals can in fact suck really badly, because after 30 minutes, vocals in background music just gives me a goddamn headache. Especially when it's Hoodie Allen talking about how good he can dance for a white guy. I don't doubt him, I just don't care. I don't want to ever see a white guy dance. That's just the honest truth. That we can't see through any of these windows after we finish power washing them. Like, I know that's probably just a limitation of the engine because they didn't want to necessarily model the interior of every building that had windows on it. But also, I'm a little bit worried that maybe we're scuffing the windows so badly that they literally become unusable. Like, are they going to invoice us a bill for, turning their windows into frosted sugar glass, do you think? You definitely break windows with a heavy-duty power washer. I don't know how easy or how difficult it would be, but I know you definitely can. There's no way you can't. Like, they use water to cut glass in some applications, right? Oh, now we got Bugsnax music? That's alright. Bugsnax is a pretty good game. I'm probably not gonna play it on stream for a very long time, if ever. But Bugsnax is a very good game. No further notes. In fact, I'm gonna change my pressure washer skin in honor of Bugsnax. Now it's food. The only reason that I'm not playing Bugsnax on stream is because that means you wouldn't go play Bugsnax. And listen, you should play Bugsnax. It's a good game. You know, when I started washing this wall, some part of me felt like it was going to be a really awful, drawn-out process. And then I immediately switched off of the green nozzle, and all of a sudden it's way easier. So that's kind of a point against the green nozzle now that I'm washing the side of this building. At least these windows aren't the fiddly type that take 10 years to clean. Because for some reason, the windows on some of these maps, like, they really want you to get every last sub-pixel of dirt off of the window before it will actually register the window is done. It makes me feel a little bit insane sometimes. And then that whole wall just obliterates all of the dirt on it because I got like half of it. This game can be a little bit weird sometimes, you know? Alright, that's looking pretty alright. There's a side of the... Yep, there's just a side of the fire station that I have been missing. That's why the checklist hasn't shown up, because I missed an entire wall of the place so far. You know, I've always wanted to learn how to play the ukulele, but my fingers have never been dexterous enough to play a stringed instrument, really. Like, I've tried guitar, and I got past the part where it hurt my fingers, and I thought that I was going to be able to keep going with it. But, like, it just never sounded good, even after a couple weeks of practice at, like, really basic stuff. I just kind of gave up. And ukulele seems like it would be even harder, because ukulele's smaller, and I got big, fat dog fingers, you know? Like, it takes a lot of work for me to play a ukulele because my hands are the size of Arizona soda cans. Why do you think I'm playing video games by pressing this one big button over and over again? I press the gamer button because normal controllers aren't big enough for my big, meaty hands. This next track is apparently from the Unpacking soundtrack, a game that I have seen very heavily advertised to me, but have never actually interacted with, because I don't want to sound rude, because I'm sure the game is worth the money based on how well it reviews. But some part of my stupid brain feels like a $20 game about watching someone's life unfold by unpacking and repacking their things as they move can't possibly actually live up to that price. Like, some part of me just feels like if I play Unpacking, no matter how good the game is, I'll not have felt like I got my money's worth, and I'll resent the game for that. Which is kind of a silly reason not to play a video game, right? Little Tower wall frame. It's these. Are they the ones on the inside that I didn't get? Yep. Gotta say, I am enjoying the Simlish this particular piece of the soundtrack happens to have on it. Even if I don't have any context or any real desire to play Unpacking. Sing it again. Did I walk right past the frame that I needed to clean? I don't think it's inside. That one. That one. The one I have to clean should be glowing bright white. But these frames are gray by default. That doesn't really help me. Ah, there it is. A sneaky guy all the way up there. Of the office walls is also not clean, apparently. To be honest, I would prefer it if their highlight system highlighted the objects bright orange instead of white. Because it always feels like the highlight is very hard to see when it's bright white, and the dirt locator view is also very hard to see when it's orange. If you could just change which color is highlighted which color. If I could just make all of the highlight colors bright magenta, I think that would make the game a lot easier. Fire exit wall base. Fire exit. There it is. Ah. Last little bit of grunge out here. Hey, FA, any chance you come hose down a spare truck? The mayor's running us ragged over here. Who's FA? Like, that's so far from any of the names that I have introduced myself with. That's not Dirt Finder, that's not like Pressure Washer General, that's... Like, come on, man. That's about as... I don't know. That's just about as far from my brand name as you could get. One person who loves spraying water at stuff to another, you have our respect as well as some of our taxes. Thanks, I guess. A cropper on the old bicycle. Seems an element of rust might have crept in and seized up the ruddy stop blocks. Give the old boy a quick swish and there's a shiny threepenny bit in it for you. What? I hate everyone living in the town of Muckingham. They're all insane people. I hate every last one of them. There's a guy in this town who genuinely owns a penny farthing. What the fuck? Yeah, no, it's cool. I'll clean your penny farthing, don't get me wrong. I'll take the $10. But what the fuck, man? Why do you own this? Why does anyone own this? This bike has to hurt so bad to ride. Like, forgive my crassness, but penny farthing bikes look like purpose-built crotch manglers. Like, you get on one of these things, you ride it a mile and a half, and it will have turned everything on your body from the waist down into whipped cream. Bloody, bloody whipped cream. It just doesn't seem good, you know? They just don't seem good to ride. I do, however, very much enjoy the synth jams in the Risk of Rain soundtrack. Those are incredible. Say, for what I thought was going to be an incredibly quick job, this is one of the most annoying jobs I've ever had to actually do in this game. Just cleaning off this penny farthing, holy shit. How can it even have that many parts to clean? I've just gotten the achievement Impeccable Balance, which I can only assume is from having jumped on top of this thing and just chilled out on it for a little while. Bike is finished. Can I leave now? What a genuinely miserable bike. You shouldn't ride that, man. He didn't ride so beautifully, I'd flog him to a museum. Hello, Doc. I hope you're as good with cars as you are with houses, because I got my old wagon out of the garage and turned it into Doug Beetle's Christmas lift. It still turns on, but I'm not taking Dolores out for a spin till it's gleaming as she is. Thanks, Leonard. Now this is a job I can get behind. An old man who just can't punctuate, screaming at me to please come wash his car. You might find the odd streaky line where Bert tried to clean with his power washer, dribble washer, more like haha. Who's Bert? Is he encroaching on my fucking business? I think I might have to go have someone break Bert's fucking knees. And his bees. By Jiminy, that's right. I used to race this beast all over. It's got a grunt like an angry rhino. Heck, I won the 1989 Race of Champions in it. Is that a real race? We have a Muckingham Race of Champions? No, I didn't. I watched that on TV. Oh. Yeah, it looks like this car wasn't actually popular to fill all of their ad space. Wasn't popular enough to fill all their ad space, rather. Because there is definitely still a your ad here on the bottom of the door. Hey, Dirt! Racing Team L. Miller. boss, would you? Is he talking to the dirt and rust on his vehicle now? Okay. So is this guy just like lonely and he hired me to do this because he wants the company? Because there's no way a guy who owns a race car like this doesn't also own a pressure washer, right? This guy strikes me as a grandma of 9 million years. How long will you be? I was thinking of taking the car for a tear up down the old abandoned sewer system. Well, I see how it got like this in the first place. Is this poop? Hey, Leonard, you making me clean poop off your car? Be honest with me. You get dookie on the car, old man? Word with Lenny, and he's certainly not going to be tearing it up down the sewer system. We'll be sticking to Main Street for now. Okay, thank you, Dolores, because I was not going to let that man drive up and down through the sewer system in this car without me filming. Because, holy hell, that would be a sight to see. More music from Unpacking, a game I still haven't played in the time since we last talked about it. Though this song is called It's Not You, which does imply that maybe this is a piece of soundtrack that comes after a breakup in the main plotline. If I had to guess, at least. Music for Unpacking is pretty good, knowing nothing else about the game. Like, it's enjoyable. And presumably, since you have to, like, do the gameplay along to it, it's meant to loop rather cleanly, so you're not going to, like, notice as much of the looping. Probably explains why it's on this playlist. Rather handily, even. Come on. There we go. Asking the game to come on always works. I don't know how I feel about the choice of colors on this car. The sort of like black into red and blue and red with the white "Your Ad Here" bar looks a little silly if I'm being completely honest. Doc, the car looks so fresh. You are a soap star. Haha. I cannot wait to see old Bert's face when me and Dolores streak past his front yard and he sees what a power washing pro can do. I don't want to be enemies with Bert. I want to kill him. Can you run him over instead? FA. Still don't know what that stands for. We're currently down at Aquwood Falls, about to risk life and limb because someone thinks they saw the mayor's cat licking its paw under the waterfall. It's got to stop and I've had a brainwave. Bring the old truck out from the garage, give it a clean, and send the recruits out on that wild goose chase while the rest of us get it on with all the proper jobs. It's hella filthy, but if you could do your thing and make it sparkling, the mayor will never tell the difference. Thanks, pal. I mean, I guess that's the sensible thing to do, is have all of the rookies doing the scut work of looking for the mayor's cat so we can legally declare it spring. Police rules, fire drools. Well, that's just patently untrue. police are trash. I hate them. Not the band. The police, like the guys who claim to keep the peace, I hate those guys. They're pricks. They're bad people. They hurt the people around them and they don't stop crime. I hate cops. Just in case anyone watching the stream was unsure of where I stood on that issue. Cops suck. Fuck them. The only thing they're good for is keeping people from smoking weed. And I think everyone should smoke weed. In theory, the cat's not really missing, huh? Well, what would the cat be doing then, man? Huh? Can you tell me that? The mayor's using it as a distraction device so nobody notices all the pipeline stuff. Sorry. Pipeline stuff? What's the mayor doing with a pipeline? This is the first that I've heard of it, but that definitely sounds correct. Considering he is apparently the 13th of his clan. This ladder's rust is not coming off with the green nozzle. That's a bit of a problem. Hey, bud, do you know if the mayor's cat is still missing? I'm up at the volcano. I think I see him on the outer rim. I'm going in for a closer look. No? Don't do that. What? Well, Calvin's dead. Like, there's no mincing words there. Calvin's dead. He just fell in the volcano. Ain't that sad? Hey, Doc, we have a lovely job for you up at the house when you're free. No weird stuff, promise. Well, since you said there was no weird stuff, I actually have to assume... Definitely Ulysses, I can see his funny leg. Please don't let the mayor's cat fall in the volcano. Spring will never come that way. Why would a cat hang out 10 feet from a lava flow, though? Well, that's a great question, because if he's 10 feet from the lava flow, the convective heat of the lava should be lighting him on fire. I guess it's like the world's best log fire. No, again, the convective heat should be cooking him like a Christmas turkey. That cat's gonna die. You should probably get that cat away from the lava flow. Like, you probably you should actually, yes, risk life and limb to get the mayor's cat away from the lava flow, Calvin. You're already so close to the lava flow, you know. How could it possibly get any worse? Most of the dirt off the top of this bad boy. Come on. I know you want to give me the ding. It's the whole point of the game. So how did you guys get this truck this fucked up? Like, I understand the police department, or not the police department, I understand the fire department being all fucked up a little bit, because there is an active volcano, but if this was inside of the garage, how did you get it so exclusively and hilariously filthy? Like, it was inside, right? Is the inside as bad as this truck? Because in that case, I think you guys need more like a contracted maid than a power washer after a certain point. Like, I'm glad to do this, but I'm not gonna like power wash your carpet until it's not brown anymore, you know? one's a little bit outside of my wheelhouse, I would say. Then a whisker of Ulysses. If you push him into the lava flow, I'll fucking kill you, Calvin. Let's get something straight right now. You are worth less than that cat in the grand scheme of things. Mount Rushless is rumbling now more than ever. Yeah, that volcano is going to explode. I phrased that as if I had a second follow-up, but I've always been a dog man, and now I know why. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Calvin. We appreciate your patronage, buddy. But yeah, I think we should probably actually be evacuating the town instead of taking more power washing jobs. Because it sounds like the town's going to be buried in volcanic ash in like 3 days. And we're all gonna die because of it, you know? Does everyone in the town know the mayor's cat by his first name? Like, I'm thinking of all of the towns I've ever lived in, and I don't think that I could name the mayor's cat. Everyone in the world recently became aware of the Mouser at number 10 in Britain. But that's just because their government exploded overnight, and the only thing anyone wants to talk about for some reason is the cat. I think possibly as a distraction from the fact that their government exploded overnight. But like, if you asked me, you know, in any given town in the world, what the mayor's cat's name is, I don't think many people would know, except for the fucking freaks who apparently live in Muckingham. Because there's a spring festival where the cat has to put on his funny little hat in order to ring in the season. Is the best option to remove rust. And I think if you're removing the rust, you're probably also removing, like, the protective layer of the metal that keeps it from rusting in the first place. Because stainless steel is just steel with a layer of something else on it to keep it from rusting. Like, it's not a special kind of steel that just doesn't rust. To my understanding, it's just steel covered in zircon most of the time. Other than the obvious joke of how you should zircon these nuts. Like, you know, you can just chip that crap off. That's why you're not supposed to put most stainless steel knives in the dishwasher. Or at least a good portion of them are not dishwasher safe. Just from the soundtrack alone, it's sounding like I might need to play the game Eastward someday, because I'm getting a lot of tracks off of the Eastward soundtrack, and they've all been very good so far. I know Eastward is supposedly one of those modern RPG homage type games. So who knows, it might be right up my alley. In fact, Looking at it. Looking at it. Yep. No, this game's gonna actually go on the streaming list because it does legitimately look like a very enjoyable game. I've decided as of right now. You want me to wash your windshield wipers, huh? Okay, I guess. Those are the emergency lights, so the warning lights, I assume, would be back here. There's like 14 of them on this truck. There we go. And warning lights. What is defined as a warning light on a fire truck? I would think most of the lights on a fire truck are warning lights. Oh, there we go. That's a clean truck. I'm a big fan of weird game soundtrack songs where there's like someone hooting or like going in the background. Or like the secret stage music from BattleBlock Theater, where they just have the voice actor Stamper going fucking apeshit in the background. That stuff's good. F.A., you're a legend. This is absolutely pristine. Even the rust's gone. That should get the mayor off our backs for a while, which means we can all get back to doing the jobs we're paid for. Thanks, pal. Sorry, you guys used to be the Mystery Machine? You guys traveled around the country in an RV doing odd jobs and solving mysteries. Are you fucking Scoober-Doo? Just wanted to say how grateful Jenny and I are for everything you've done for us. It's really helped us get on our feet. I mean, you guys are the ones who pay me for this shit, you know? Washing the house when no one else would made such a difference. And as for the car... Sorry, were other people refusing to wash your house because you were... Fans just want Esther, so he sold the car. For a lot, I mean, yes, we do want a supersized lot. Are you guys really spreading so many rumors about your house being, like, haunted with Enochian runes that people wouldn't wash your house for you? You guys paid me a ridiculous amount of money to wash your house. Like, I need to emphasize how truly, just insane the amount of money that I was given to clean your house was, considering how long it actually ended up taking. God, the front of this RV looks so goofy. I'll have to get a better shot of that thing from the front once I get this rust down from up here. Yeah, there's just something extremely silly about the front of this RV. This RV from the front, I don't know why, but it reminds me of a shark. And not like in a scary way, but like how sharks have those really like doofy noses because they have to have a big surface area to have their electro and chemical receptors up there so they can like smell and stuff. So they just have those big ol' honkin' schnorfs that they just run into things occasionally. That's what this RV reminds me of. Which I guess is fitting because RV are mechanical megafauna. They're like an elephant, but a car. You have to wonder how far away I am from the final power washer, because I would love, $5,000 for the final power washer. I almost have the stars for it. But it's 5,000 goddamn dollars. And I'll have to re-buy my extensions and nozzles. Needs brake lights while I'm up here. I am willing to say that Bugsnax soundtrack is solidly very good. As we play the 4th song off the Bugsnax soundtrack, and I am once again not annoyed by it. All right, I think I've got most of this route. Start from the back of this thing, I suppose. So you guys are going through an old dead woman's attic and vlogging her possessions in order to go viral. I kind of hate you guys. Yeah, what's most fascinating is the telemetry. I'm really getting into analytics. Oh yeah, I'm sure it's just fascinating. I don't want to help you guys anymore. I don't want you to become influencers based off of my pressure washing work. I don't want you to keep digging through this movie star's old shit to vlog it. It actually feels kind of grim and terrible. You guys are kind of just idiots, actually, because you thought that those plumbing overfill pipes, like septic markings, were Enochian, and now you're just vlogging a dead woman's shit and literally flogging it on eBay. The old vlog and flog, that's a crime in some parts of the galaxy, man. Ah! Hi, Flex. Oh, you're playing Power Washer Simulator right now, too? Yeah, I heard 1.0 came out, and then I felt really stupid for deleting all of my progress because I realized that I would have to get all my progress back in order to play all of the new 1.0 content. So I've just been going absolutely apeshit streaming this game the last couple of days so I can get my progress back. I simply have to know what the new nozzle is. Jenny's changed too, traded in cryptozoology for cryptocurrency. Itty bitty coin looks like the next big thing if you need a tip. No, I don't. Can we stop the job right now? Are there other jobs? Fuck. I don't want to clean the RV of a crypto nerd. I don't want to help you anymore. Cryptocurrency is bad and evil. I can't fucking believe this. Let's just clean their stupid RV and get the fuck out of here as quickly as possible. Jesus. I hate these people. Listen, I could legitimately spend a full stream talking about why cryptocurrency is bullshit, but I don't need to. Just take it from a fucking hyper-advanced AI who understands how the technology works, understands what it's for, understands what it does. You shouldn't invest in cryptocurrency. You shouldn't lock your money away in it. It's not gonna go up in value. That's a lie. Their coin is not different from any other coin. It's a scam, just like every other coin is a scam. And yeah, as Flex says, Flex put it best, actually. Thanks for paying me in cash, asshole. We should probably actually, since we've been forced to be known as the Dirt Finder General, we should probably have Harper put it out there that we only accept cash and we don't accept, like, trade, barter, or Bitcoin. Like my power washing business accepts cash or hash. You can offer both if you really need a job done. I bet these people fucking pretend to be deadheads in this RV. Wait, what? We want you to have the RV. Why? Oh, she's born for the open road. I mean, I'll take it, but you're paying me to clean my own RV at this point. Maybe you can take your jobs to other counties? Or maybe you know someone on the lookout for what? Oh wait, yeah, no, I know a dipshit who needs an RV. Hang on. Yeah, this is actually really serendipitous. I'm looking for an RV for a dipshit of mine. Yeah, no, I bet there's jugs hidden somewhere in this RV too, so this technically is a cash, hash, and RV deal. I haven't made one of those since the 60s. I'm willing to bet if you look around in the background a lot of these maps, you could probably see the mayor's cat in the distance just like chilling somewhere. I know they mentioned him being up at the volcano, but I have a feeling like one of the ongoing jokes of this game has been the cat just being hidden in the backgrounds of other levels. I was around in the 60s. Who do you think invented weed? If you thought that shit just grew naturally in the wilderness, you're wrong. I invented it. Sent it back in time. I thought it would fix a lot more problems than it did, really. It's kind of been disappointing how few problems weed has fixed for people ever since I invented it and sent it back in time. Once again, I have neglected the windscreen wipers. I feel like I probably shouldn't be blasting the incredibly delicate joints of the windshield wipers with a power washer. Whatever, it's fine. Of hashed puppy. I don't want any cults, honestly. They're not as helpful as you would think. You can't actually get them to do anything for you all that often. Mostly they just kill people that they don't like. And it's always in your name and for your glory and all that stuff. And it's really not all that helpful because then that's just a dead body that I have to get rid of. Hey, FA, get yourself over here quick as you can. We got an urgent one for you, thanks. I don't work for the fire department, Denver. You know that, right? If you want me over there urgently, you're gonna have to offer me competitive freelance pay. Oh, hey, Harper, yeah. About to hit the road, heading for pastures unknown. I know you said not to, but I've sent some cash over. Maybe put it towards a washer upgrade? I don't know what you mean. I don't have enough money for a washer upgrade, Harper. You know that. Buddy Cal got himself a real spot of bother up on Mount Rushless. Poor guy was so delirious from volcanic fumes he thought the mayor's hellish feline was up there with him. He's fine now, but the copter looks like something dug up from the bowels of the earth, which nearly was. We got TV crews arriving later, so if you can do what you do so well, it'd be sure to get us out of a jam. Oh, so he didn't find the mayor's cat. He was just stoned out of his mind on top of the mountain because he was inhaling volcano fumes. You gotta be careful about that stuff. Fog is really dangerous. Now that sounds like something that I might emit, you know, as a defensive mechanism or something, but no, it's actually short for volcanic fog. And volcanic fog tends to be made of a lot of very dangerous and poisonous heavy elements, because it's coming out of a volcano, which are full of molten rock, and molten rock is just really, really unhealthy to breathe. Even in very small quantities, you know? Another absolute banger off of the Eastward soundtrack, I must say. So I guess it's pretty nice that they're paying me to do this job instead of trying to, like, hold me responsible for Cal nearly jumping into a volcano. Because I was the last person he texted before he did that. And it's not like I'm friends with Calvin. He's just a pressure washing client, if I'm perfectly honest. But if they wanted to, they definitely could have watched my live stream and taken my comments about saving the mayor's cat as me encouraging him to jump into the volcano to go after the cat. That was a hallucination. So really, I guess I'm just glad to be paid for this job more than anything. I'm telling you, Doc, even if I'm goosed on CO2, I can tell the difference between a limping ginger tomcat and a pyroclastic flow. Yeah, Cal? Maybe you should just enjoy the hospital jello. Flex, I appreciate you enjoying me rambling. You should probably hit up the VOD channel at the end of this week because my sanity has been slowly declining the longer I play Power Washer Simulator. So I've just been kind of free verse ranting about whatever comes to mind as I'm listening to different DMCA free lo-fi music. So all of these streams should be right up your alley. That goes for anyone else out there. If you enjoy listening to me deliriously free associatively rant about nothing, these Power Washer streams have been great for that. Because basically nothing happens in them, and yet everything happens in them. I'm always cleaning something new and interesting, but the basic gameplay of this game will literally never change. It can't. It's Power Washer Simulator. This is a song off the Eastward soundtrack, apparently called Hurry Up, which I can only assume is played in an area where you need to hurry up. Though it does make me feel as if the news crew is on their way here right now, and if they see a dirty helicopter, it will somehow mean the end of my power washing business. We can't fucking let that happen. One thing's for sure, letting the chief know my predicament saved my smoky bacon. I owe you one. Did I tell him about that? Has the fire chief been reading my phone calls? I don't remember telling the fire chief about how you were about to jump into a volcano. Also, again, I don't think it was CO2. Volcanoes don't emit CO2. They emit a lot worse than that. You are definitely poisoned as fuck, dude. If the mayor's cat was up there, it's probably dead. Not gonna accept that for an answer, though, is he? God damn it. No step, says that sign down there. Fuck you. Don't ever try to tell me what to do ever again, video game. Dr. Power Wash steps where he pleases. This feels like credits music for Bugsnax that's playing right now. Well, see, Flex, I have a back-mounted power washer that seems to have an infinite supply of water in it, so honestly, I would love if the ending of this game was just me climbing the local volcano and I have to put out all of the lava by spraying it down with my power washer. Make the final boss me fighting a volcano. And I had this conversation at the start of one of my other streams. Oh no, the video inside the overlay has gotten incredibly muddy. Which one? There's a lot of videos inside of a lot of overlays. The one of the game? Or the one of me, of your wonderful friend Vuppy. Because the video quality has not changed at all on my end. OBS, is it because I literally have you on a second monitor? Are you getting angry about that? What's going on here? I mean, it's not really... Yeah, I mean, that's probably going to be a bitrate problem on your end. I don't know how that could possibly be a my end issue, other than literally the game is having trouble visually encoding for broadcast, and there is quite literally nothing that I can do about that. Here, we'll even knock it down to medium texture quality. And low shadow distance, wow. But yeah, there's not really anything I can do about any visual muddiness that happens. Unless, of course, it's one of those situations where, you know, the person whose Wi-Fi I'm bouncing the signal through has run out of data again. Because somehow months ago, I ran out of data on an infinite data connection, because apparently infinite meant 1.2 terabytes. Moved into Fioraine's old pace? Guess who's a copter pilot now? What? I don't know a Fioraine except from Monster Hunter Rise. You're on a okay, Calvin. Bud, you can't keep texting me all the time. We are not friends. We are business associates at best. And yeah, we do have the Risk of Rain soundtrack as part of this particular playlist, because as it turns out, usually the games that don't get copy struck by Twitch tend to pretty exclusively be video game soundtracks. been a streaming issue for me. I had several embarrassing data failures, we'll call them, that ate my Steam library, so I had to download my entire Steam library 3 times in a month. And over 1.5 terabytes is apparently too much to download in 1 month. They think you're doing something suspicious if you download over 1 terabyte of shit in a month. Once again, the Eastward soundtrack is really, really good for a game that I know absolutely nothing about, except for the fact that it's been advertised to me consistently on the front page of Steam for like 6 months. I don't know what it is. Steam really fucking wants me to play Eastward, and I don't know why. Like, Steam seems to think that I'm a really big fan of RPGs and RTS games, despite the fact that I don't play any of the ones I own. Like, I tried to get good at Stellaris, and apparently the time that I spent trying to get good at Stellaris just made Steam go, oh, they like RTS games. They like RTS games, and we're only going to recommend them RTS games from now on. Sims 4 is 65 gigabytes after I had to re-download my copy. I had my ISP at my door asking if I was pirating games. That's fucking depressing, because 64 gigabytes isn't even that much for a game in the grand scheme of things. Or at least, like, not if you're playing, like, any of the next-gen console games that have been ported to PC. Like, Final Fantasy 15 genuinely wants you to dedicate over 90 gigabytes of your hard drive to that fucking monster of a game if you want to be able to play that game. Fucking Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is also just a fantastically enormous game. And so for your ISP to be like, hey, are you pirating games after you download one 65 gigabyte game is depressing as fuck. That's awful. Oh, you know what I just realized might be the issue? Hang on. Let me see if it is literally just that I bumped up my resolution slightly. Haha, the Power Washer Simulator video is all sorts of fucked up now. I get a proper aspect ratio, thank you. Whee! Wahoo! Wiggling and sliding the video around. Yeah, there we go. Now we have it back at sort of a proper resolution. Maybe OBS will not be so angry at me. Resize it till it actually fits properly. Come on. There we go. Are we good? Ah, we're good. There we go, everyone. Our state specifically has a monopoly when it comes to power internet, so whenever you actually, use power internet, they come to your door about the dumbest shit. That sounds awful. If my ISP emailed me to be like, hey, you've downloaded a lot of videos recently, are you making a Morbius YouTube poop? I would lose my mind. I would start just sending them letters in the mail full of flour so that they thought they were receiving some sort of, like, biological agent. Just a big ol' envelope full of glitter and fucking flour and maybe some perfume so that it smells weird. Really make them freak the fuck out. They've deadass done that before, not gonna lie. What, have they emailed you to be like, hey, are you making a YouTube poop? Cut it out? Because, like, I easily download at least 1.5 gigabytes of video clips for making, like, YouTube poops. Oh my god, did you really download enough assets while working on a Rivals of Aether character that your ISP emailed you? Hey yo! Hey yo! It looks like you're making a fighting game character. This frame data's too good. Xfinity's cutting your shit off, man. You gave him a fucking frame 6? You gave him a frame 6 grab? Like Bowser? Like fucking Bowser? Nah, man. Delete the character. Delete the character, we're turning off your fucking internet. Wow. Yeah, I had to download extensions to help complete it, but because I've never downloaded extensions before, they emailed us about piracy. That's balls. I bet if you switched to Linux, like if you literally just downloaded Linux and switched to Linux, they would email you and be like, hey, you've never downloaded Linux before. That's an operating system that we can't track as well. Are you sure you're not succumbing to terrorism? Are you preparing to become a terrorist Linux user? Yeah, but then they're gonna email you about using a VPN to be like, you're using a VPN, are you sure you're not downloading guns? VPNs are only used by disgusting perverts who are trying to download guns to kill the president with. I should probably learn what jokes I am and am not allowed to make on Twitch before I get a substantial following, huh? I think downloading guns is probably not actually one of those things that I can talk about in conjunction with the president. It occurs to me that's one of those things that might actually get streamers in trouble for these days. I had to re-download my Windows and got that email. I cannot... That is so upsetting. I would legitimately lose my mind. Like, I know that in any given region of the world, you are being monitored by the people who provide your internet. Like, that is something I understand. But if they emailed me to remind me every so often that I was being watched, I would go crazy. I would lose it. Just, hey, just so you know, it's pretty sus that you downloaded Morbius. Are you planning to do something untowards with that Morbius? Had to re-download Need for Speed and they thought nfs.exe.ea was a bomb. Well, to be fair, that is, that's a completely fair assumption to make that it's something dangerous, because that is something made by Electronic Arts, and Electronic Arts makes some pretty disgustingly dangerous bullshit these days. Finder, I need your assistance at the manor as a matter of great urgency. Oh god, it's the fucking mayor. So the mayor is now commandeering the local power washers into his little crusade for the cat, I think. If he asks me to find his cat, I'm gonna blast that bastard with 5,000 PSI. The TV crews and senators found out they'd only rescued Cal and not the cat. They were a no-show. Still, at least the copter will be nice and clean to go back to Columbus. If you ever fancy adding an element of danger to your hose work, let me know. I'll put the word in. really sick and tired of all of these people. I know that I'm a blue-collar worker working for freelance pay, but I really hate all of these people. Dirt Finder, someone with too much time and egg on their hands, has seen fit to bombard my magnificent abode with ballistics most foul. Don't ask me why. I'm as far and noble a mayor as this town has ever seen. As I'm sure you appreciate, security is at a premium right now, so I'm afraid I won't be allowing you onto my property. Instead, I have provided you with a voucher for an extra-long washer extension. It's for the cheapest one. I'm not made of money. One last thing, there may be a small element of graffiti on the gates. Please remove that as well when you're out there. Much obliged, JJXIII. Oh boy, the cheapest of the extra-long power washers. Cool. I guess I'll just buy the... I'll buy the one that actually fits my current power washer. Goodness gracious. I remember this was actually a very big thing when the update first came out for the extra long extensions, because they had the normal extensions and they had the long extensions. And those were very good for basically everything, as you have seen before this level. But apparently there were some people who complained, and they really, really wanted an extra long extension. So when they added the extra long extensions, they were like, okay, here's a level where you clean off eggs from a quarter mile away. Also, looking at all this graffiti, no water. There's some boobs. The mayor said something about a pipeline, so I have a feeling whatever the mayor's doing, he's probably, I don't know. He's fucking up the water supply somehow, that's my best guess. But I guess I'll clean off the shit that needs a fucking US sniper before I start on the stuff out here. You can't come in, but please blast my windows with the highest pressure water you can possibly fucking find. Just really mess my shit up. I want you to puncture that pane and fucking blast the top of my skull out. I want you to put the back of the power washer to my head, and I want you to lift my head off with the force of your water, Dirt Finder. Yeah, I'm beginning to think Muckingham might be in the same region as your ISP monopoly, because like all of the people in this town are exactly as annoying as your ISP sounds, and nobody seems to notice. But Muckingham sounds like a very English name, you know, so we might also just be in part of Britain. British people are like this, they care that much about a cat. Colossal number of eggs, isn't it? Yeah. Couple dozen. Final boss of this game is just Jeff Jefferson. We kill him with a power washer. Governor Stevens says he's never seen such a sustained attack of eggs. Well, Jeff, maybe you should suck less. It sounds like you suck. There's over 100 of them launched over a period of 15 minutes. That's 10 eggs a minute. That's actually downright leisurely, my guy. Who the hell is Governor Stevens, and why does he have, like, prior knowledge of egg attacks? Is he also a bad governor? It sounds like he might also be a bad governor if he's getting egg attacks that frequently. Yeah, the boss music is definitely coming in at some interesting times. Again, I do think that Mayor Jeff Jefferson might be the final boss of Muckingham. Alright, I think that's most of his house gotten, so... The sheer variety of hue in the yolks. Jeff, you're a fucking weirdo, you know that? From a rich ochre to an almost lemon yellow. I think the first time I did this level, I had bought all of the soap nozzles, so I hadn't been able to afford this power washer. And this level was actually a nightmare because the spray paint was really difficult to clean with the bad washer. Quite mesmerizing set against my pure white alabaster pillars. Jeff, are you egging yourself? Are you just, like, lonely? Is that it? Do you not have people you can hang out with, so you've egged your house so you can just text at me about it? So I'll be honest, Jeff, I like you least of all. I like you even less than Cal. Hey, does your workspan have a logo? Only I want a job, but don't want anyone else finding out. Stacy? I don't know a Stacy's. I don't know a Stacy. I only know Stacy's mom. Poor old cat Ulysses, the mayoral cat, is still missing. Yeah, I've heard. We've all been frantic with worry. No, I'm pretty sure it's only you, dog. In fact, I'm pretty sure everyone else in town wants you fucking strung up by the neck for obsessing over this cat so much. You were distracting the fire department with quests to look for your cat. I'm sure in that time, at least one little old lady literally burned to death, Jeff. You gotta have some perspective, man. Whatever, he doesn't care. You know he doesn't. Oh, other people from town have reported missing cats? Is Ulysses eating them? Jeff, you shouldn't let your cat do that, man. It was the same when I started wearing chinos? Sorry. Are cats going missing in order to be stylish? Is that what we're supposed to get here? Or did cats also go missing when you started wearing chinos? Like, did the local serial killer get angry at your change in fashion and start stealing cats? I just realized I'm probably also getting paid with taxpayer money to do this, so maybe I shouldn't complain too terribly much. Because my pockets are now officially dirty with the Muckingham people's money. I've taken Jeff Jefferson's dirty bit. Alright, where's this final wall base I have to hit? I think it's inside. Yep, through the hedges. That's definitely an interesting fucking shot that they're asking me to make. Yeah, alright. You're welcome, Mayor. Please never, ever invite me back here again. Even the replay of that was kind of unsatisfying. Many thanks for your work, Dirtfinder. That's more like the kind of magnificent mansion you'd conclude a multi-million-pound deal inside, is it not? Much obliged, JXIII. Yeah, he said the pound, so he's either extremely English or we're all extremely English. This guy watching me from his backyard patio is probably wondering why I keep stopping to check my phone in the middle of his backyard. Yeah, I'm just gonna turn around and there's just gonna be a homeowner on his back porch just watching me work. sipping a mug of iced tea, just like, oh, don't mind me, Sonny, just don't step on my petunias. Hey, Power Washer, I've just joined the Traveling Carnival pitching up at the recreation ground. You may have seen us. Purchased a beautiful classic carousel. We purchased a beautiful classic carousel, but I'm worried about being outgunned by the owners of the bigger rides. It's pretty filthy. Was gonna clean it myself, but then I thought, what would happen if I gave her a deep clean and really made her pop? Who'd want to slide down a grubby helter-skelter when they can waltz around a pristine carousel, right? Make her pig and we'll both clean up. You'll arrive in a plain van, right? Don't want the competition to get the same idea. No? In fact, the only van that I have actually has an enormous logo on the side declaring me, a power washer business. We are actually about as conspicuous as it gets. Do I have the money for an incognito van? Yeah, that's incognito. I'm sure no one will notice the noise of the power washer running, you know? First things first, I'm going to turn the carousel off, because if I have to hear the carousel music the whole time, I'll heat my fucking gourd. My name is Kevin Bernard, proprietor of Wengerloof Carnival's Helter Skelter. Please state your business. Yeah, you own the dirty old Helter Skelter. I don't need to tell you shit. My business is I'm power washing, bud. Fuck off. That's my business. Fucking nerve of some of these people, I swear to God. I am the Dirt Finder General. Filth does in fact quiver before me. May all who are vile and unclean cower before my incredible gallons per minute. I do have to wonder, like, you know, this is gonna sound like I'm just reaching for conversation topics, and maybe on some level it is. But if you put soda in a power washer, does it make it work better or worse? Because a power washer, usually you're going to be adding some sort of chemical to a lot of the water in order to dissolve a lot of the grime. Like, you don't necessarily just power wash stuff off with pure water. You'll go over with, like, a layer of soap first, and you let it sit in and sort of loosen everything up before you then rinse it all off. But you know, there's all those life hacks where it's like use the carbolic acid in Coke to get the rust off of rusty metal, or like use Pepsi to scrub stains out of hardwood because there's acid in Pepsi and it makes it good for scrubbing stains. So if you run Coke through a power washer, like, you are going to be getting the surface sticky with Coke, but also, like, you have that extra acid element in there that might do something, you know? Flex does bring up a good point. We would have to let the soda go flat first. And I think we might actually lose some acidity by letting it go flat first, because I think part of the actual, like, acidity of soda is the carbolic acid present from carbon dioxide being forced into water, basically. But okay, let's think about it. Let's think about it this way. What soda would be best to put through a power washer? It can't be fizzy, so we have to rule out anything that's fizzy. So it's gonna have to be a flat version of anything, right? And we're probably not gonna want a caramel soda, like anything with caramel coloring in it. So that kind of rules out a lot of, like, you know, Coke, Pepsi, Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper, for all that I love it, I think Dr. Pepper would probably actually be the worst. Like, the fruit flavors of Dr. Pepper would somehow intermingle with the cleaning process to become, like, gross. And yeah, I'm gonna say probably Sprite. Like, Sprite or maybe Fresca. I don't know why, but Fresca seems like it'd be really good for cleaning things. Maybe it's just because it's, like, flavored water at the end of the day, but Fresca always seemed like it would be good to clean something with. But Sprite's interesting because you have Sprite, and Sprite does seem like a good option. But I wouldn't say... I have to finish washing this carousel before I come wash your treehouse, sir. Thank you. But I wouldn't say that orange soda would be as good, because orange soda is really sugary. But, like, Sprite isn't necessarily a lemon soda. Like, I wouldn't put a lemon soda in a pressure washer. Like, I wouldn't want to put Squirt through a pressure washer, or, like, Sundrop. Surely Stacy doesn't seriously think that cleaning her carousel will make it a more attractive prospect than my towering Helter Skelter. I don't know, buddy. I just used the pressure washer. I'm not here to mediate any arguments about your Helter Skelter or your carousel, my guy. But, like, Sprite seems like it would be a good idea. Fresca seems like it would be a good idea. Lemon sparkling water, good idea. Fanta, bad idea. Fanta, like, for some reason, I think it might be because they've got, like, corn syrup or something in them, but, like, Fanta and grape soda and, like, Mountain Dew, if you put Mountain Dew in a pressure washer, that, you've actually created, in my mind, the opposite of a pressure washer. You've created, like, an acid slinger. Like one of those weapons that you'd find in a video game where it's like, oh, this gunk gun shoots nasty projectiles that dissolve your enemy. That's what Mountain Dew in a pressure washer feels like to me. Like, Mountain Dew in a pressure washer seems like a combination that you would use, like, you'd go on Reddit/illegal life hacks and it'd be like, oh, if you really hate your boss, pressure wash his car with Mountain Dew. It'll weld the doors shut with how sticky it is, and he'll die. Yeah. Now, you hit someone with a pressure washer full of, like, blue Mountain Dew, like, you hit someone with a pressure washer full of Mountain Dew voltage, and Flex, you're 100% right. They get the fucking slag defect from Borderlands. Like, you pressure wash Mountain Dew at somebody, and you give them, like, the slag defect from Borderlands, and you poison them. You know, it's really strange that Borderlands comes up, because just earlier I was thinking about how I don't know whether or not I want to actually play Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Because if it's good, that means I'll have to keep playing Borderlands on stream so that I can stream it one day. Borderlands 1 is such a nothing game. We were so starved for content back in the early thousands. Like, it's genuinely so sad seeing that people liked Borderlands back in the day. I liked Borderlands back in the day. I played a lot of Borderlands back in the day, but objectively, the game is not very good anymore. Anyway, for some reason I have a feeling we're going to receive a job to clean a Helter Skelter in, like, the immediate future. So I guess we'll get to figure out what the fuck a Helter Skelter is. Lake Thrust, please check your job planner as a matter of urgency. Kevin Bernard, yes, my Helter Skelter is filthy. Yeah, you're probably giving children diseases. Little more time for expansions if you haven't played it yet. Well, that's the thing. It's only a $40 game, so yes, this will affect performance. Okay, I'm glad you've admitted that your Helter Skelter is a problem. Sticking spots. Considerable arm strength and willpower to get past. That sounds disgusting. But like, for a $40 game, I honestly wouldn't expect too terribly much from it. Like, if I could get a solid 6 hours out of it, I would be fine with that. Whereas, like, Borderlands 1 is a 40-hour experience that I really wish had ended 10 hours ago. So, like, my meter stick for Borderlands is all thrown out of whack because I have been playing the original Borderlands, which is not very fun. Or at least has not held up very well, let's say that. Because I'm sure it had to be good for the time, otherwise we wouldn't have so many goddamn Borderlands games. I know Torg is in Tales, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. And he's basically the only good character in that series. That's a joke. I just want to clarify, that's a joke. I just don't really want to go into my favorite Borderlands characters right now, okay? I'd have to genuinely think about that. Because there are so many just truly unpleasant characters in fucking Borderlands. If I had to pick someone off the top of my head, I'm gonna say probably one of the characters from Tales, because I really liked Tales from the Borderlands, and while I'm not sure if they did a good job bringing them back in 3, I am glad they at least brought back some of the Tales characters in 3, so we didn't just have them fucking vanish along with the existence of Telltale Games. Because that definitely could have happened. And we have Lonely Rolling Star by Game Chops. So I guess we're going to have to hear a slightly butchering remix of Katamari music now. They go so hard into making them have like drops and bass lines and beat dubstep, and really it's awful. We didn't need a bass drop in any song from Katamari, but again, it's one of the only ways I can get this shit past DMCA is by going on Spotify and looking up stream safe music, and a lot of it's just dubstep butcherings of songs that I like. None of the Katamari music is served by making it higher energy, right? Like, Katamari's music, in my mind, is music that is more or less to chill out to. Because aside from a couple of very specific levels, Katamari isn't hard. Like, Katamari is not a difficult series that you have to, like, struggle through, you know? And the specific levels that you do have to struggle through, you only have to struggle through those ones if you want to get good ranks in them. I fucked up the Cowbear levels because I didn't want to play them. Unfortunately, as we were winding through Willow Creek, we encountered a group of monks walking against the traffic, and I pressed the accelerator instead of the brake. Sorry, my guy Kevin running over monks? My Jeet Kune Do instructor always says, in an emergency, hit the nearest thing as hard as you can. That was a group of monks, Kevin. Are we talking literal Gregorian monks? I'll assume because this carnival hasn't been on the news that we aren't. But still, Kevin, what the fuck? there's a lot of people don't like TV tropes for various reasons, but I will say TV tropes is good for giving me terminology to discuss things that I like a lot of the time. Katamari is nice because Katamari, I feel, is sort of the quintessential widget series. Widget standing for weird Japanese thing. Because if you have to explain the genre of Katamari to someone, like, it's not the easiest thing in the world, right? Like, it's ostensibly a comedy game. And it's sort of like a humor game. And the gameplay loop is pretty easy to explain. You roll around a ball, that ball picks up things smaller than it, and if you roll over enough small things, you can pick up big things. But on top of that, there's like, oh yeah, you play as the Prince of All Cosmos, who is only 4 inches high, despite the fact that his dad, the King of All Cosmos, is many thousands of feet high. And the reason you're rolling up the Katamaris is because you need to rebuild all the stars in the sky, because Dad got too drunk and broke them all. And then in the later games, you're literally just making Katamari because the Prince and Katamari have gotten so popular that random people are just asking the King of All Cosmos to roll a Katamari up for them. And he's so flattered by the fan engagement that he's sending his son out to roll Katamaris. But at the end of the day, all that meta stuff really isn't all that terrifically relevant to the game. It's just weird stuff that happens to be there. Like the intro to Katamari with the dancing badgers and the mushrooms, what does that actually have to do with Katamari? Barely anything. But also, it has everything to do with Katamari. Do you feel me? Also, check out these clown gnomes. Come on. Come on. I want them to place them closer to one another, game. I want to make the gnomes hug. Game. I wish to make the gnomes hug. Come on. There. That's as close as I'm going to get the gnomes, I think. To be honest, though, I miss weird-ass games that are just fun like that. Yeah! I feel like games over time have slowly evolved, so you just kind of can't make weird shit anymore. Or at least weird shit has a lot of polish on it that kind of makes it not have the same exact charm. Like the game Cubivore, for instance, is another game that I consider a really good example of the weird Japanese thing series, where you play as a little cube who hops around and eats raw meat off of other cube animals so that they can breed and pass on their genes and evolve and stuff. Like, the game's just jank and weird in a way that I feel like can't be replicated now. Because it's a combination of, like, somewhat limited budget and people not really being sure what video games are. And, like, you sort of get it in the indie scene, but even now, like, the indie scene is so plugged into, like, what gamers want, or at least what is expected from video games, that you still just don't always get games in that style unless they're purposefully going for it, you know? Like Boredome was an experiment in being a game like Boredome, if that makes sense, you know? The Dreamcast game Seaman could not come out today. Or at least if it did, the Dreamcast game Seaman would be widely reported on as a game that was attempting to emulate the Dreamcast game Seaman, you know? A lot of the times it's like trying to emulate old weird things because we can't really have the same conditions that produced the old weird things because they were actually created as a matter of like budgetary constraint and economic constraint and like some of the weird history of the gaming industry. Yep. I played Ghostwire Tokyo recently, and I liked Ghostwire Tokyo a lot. I think it was a really good game. I think it had a lot of good dramatic beats. But also, while I was playing Ghostwire Tokyo, the whole time that I was playing Ghostwire Tokyo, I couldn't shake the fact that I was playing a Bethesda game. And the reason that I could tell I was playing a Bethesda game, and specifically I was playing a modern AAA open world game, was because there was a collectible where I had to run around to different spots of the city to pick up one of 500 objects that is a collectible. And even in Ghostwire Tokyo, I had to, like, go to the Torii Gate in order to get rid of the local fucking, like, supernatural fog covering the map so that I could continue the storyline. And I must again emphasize that I think Ghostwire Tokyo is a fantastic game. It's a lot of fun, it's really pretty, and it goes really in-depth into not only the detail of Tokyo, but the actual, like, culture of Japan in a way that's really enjoyable. But it's a Bethesda game. And more specifically, it's a Bethesda open world game. Climb a tower to reveal the map, and press a button at a collectible to increase your ammo capacity and your skill points. I collected every single collectible in Ghostwire Tokyo, which literally is the population of Tokyo. You have to collect 230,000 souls in clusters of about 100, coming out to somewhere around 150 collectibles that are just scattered throughout the city, you know? And I did all of it, and I enjoyed all of it. But I also had to think the whole time, wow, this is padding. This is padding, so the game is quote-unquote worth $60. Because if I hadn't done all of that seeker hunting and I had only strictly done the side quests and story quests and none of the achievement hunting, if I hadn't enjoyed the game enough to look around for all of those collectibles, I don't think I would have gotten my $60 worth out of it. And that's a real goddamn shame that they had to spend all that time filling the game with, like, run-around collectibles to simulate the feeling of depth rather than, like, making a game that was deep on its own. And at some point, you know, I don't think that the devs are being necessarily always held back by being attached to Bethesda or what have you. But there is a part of me, whenever I play it like a Watch Dogs game, or like I play any modern open world game where you can go on YouTube and you can see videos that's literally every cutscene in the game stitched together, and there is exactly 2 hours of cutscene for every single open world game out there, I can't help but see the corporate pie chart where it's like, all right, here's how we're allocating the dev time. This many hours to hiding collectibles, this many hours to map design, this many hours to the script, and then this many hours to the cutscenes. And invariably, they only ever get enough time to make exactly 2 hours of cutscene. And if you watch those 2 hours of cutscene, you will get an incredibly good idea of the plot of the game, even if you don't necessarily get the character of every single character because you don't hear them talking in the runabout sections. But in the grand scheme of things, if you're not playing those runabout sections, like, that gameplay is almost meaningless for the purposes of the story or conveying character. Yeah, they released Mega Man 11 for $20 and it positively exploded, but it is without a doubt a $20 game. That's the thing. I think at the end of the day, especially with Mega Man, what is Mega Man? Mega Man is 9 stages and 9 bosses. It is the same movement for the most part. If you're talking mainline Mega Man, no Mega Man X, none of the fancy side titles. It is 9 bosses, it is 9 stages, it is a boss rush, and it is a Wily fight. And I'm not saying that devs shouldn't be paid for their work. Devs should always be paid for their work, and I think the state of the games industry is deplorable with regards to how developers are paid and how they interact with their audiences. Sorry, just had to enjoy the breakdown of Nocturnal Emission for a second. This song fucking rules. But, like, I feel like in the industry, although my shrew-like reflexes saved the lives of the monks, my helter-skelter fell off the toll truck and rolled down the entire creek. But, like, the games industry seems so afraid of making a game that is worth $20, you know? And that's why I judge games in terms of my money's worth, and that's why if I play a game and I feel like I don't get my money's worth, I complain about it a lot. Also, apparently Kevin knows the specific names of the dirt on his helter-skelter. What a weirdo. But, like, developers always want to make a $60 game that is worth $60, and as a result, you have a lot of games that I feel like they sometimes grasp beyond their reach, and so you have 2 hours of storyline stretched over 30 hours of the most boring sandbox in the world. The Watch Dogs games comes to mind as an example of this, because the Watch Dogs games have maybe 1 8-hour game's worth of plot between them that is stretched over 90 hours of open world because they're owned by Ubisoft. Like, Boredome was a game that I paid $10 for, and I played for roughly 3 hours for a single stream, and mostly my opinion of it was, yeah, this game is interesting, you know? It sets out to be a simulation of mediocre moments, and I would say in that, it succeeds. I got my money's worth, and I stopped playing. And yeah, part of the issue with that metric is people's money is worth different amounts to different people. You know, I know a lot of people who live by the Guybrush Threepwood Monkey Island pirate code when it comes to video games, and it's a code that I try to adhere to most of the time as well. Paying $60 for Ghostwire Tokyo was out of character for me, and the pirate's code comes from a very simple image. And it is an image from one of the end of an image from the end of one of the Monkey Island games, where it is Guybrush and one of the lady characters of the game standing at the prow of a pirate ship, and they're staring off into the distance. And there's a quote that I think is really important. Just across the bottom of the screen, it's an inspirational moment, and it's an inspirational quote. Never pay more than $20 for a video game. And I think for the most part, that is 100% genuine, because at the end of the day, you can get Ultra Kill for under $60. You can play most of the Devil May Cry games at this point in time on PC for under $60. So if you are going to spend $60 on a video game, like, I think people need to stop accepting that Call of Duty is just a $60 video game. I think people need to ask, what is the new Call of Duty offering me that makes it worth $60? And the fact of the matter is, in a lot of situations, fucking nothing is the answer to that question. The new Call of Duty is offering you nothing except for a drum-fed Mauser and sadness. Like Buddy Simulator 1984, for instance, that's another game that game occupies a special place in my heart. And that special place is games that made me cry like a bitch on stream. Norco is up there as well in that Hall of Fame, because Norco also successfully made me cry incredibly hard on stream. But Buddy Simulator 1984, as of right now, is on sale for $7. $7. You can play one of the most interesting simulations of a bad codependent relationship that I have ever experienced. You can play one of the most moving games that I have genuinely ever experienced for $7. But they want you to pay $60 for the new Call of Duty game, where again, they have a drum-fed Garand do a Garand ping. So, like at some point, I think we just need to stop accepting trash. Just stop buying trash. Like, stop paying money for whatever new Destiny 2 ripoff has come out this week. Even if you're a Destiny fan, I would implore you to stop spending money on Destiny. Because do you want to know what's going to happen if you keep spending money on Destiny? They're going to keep vaulting content. Like, I must impress upon you all, you cannot play parts of Destiny 2 anymore. A game that I spent $60 to own and have not played since I found out that they vaulted parts of the story. Like, go on itch.io and browse the queer tag on itch.io and spend $60 in that tag. Not only will you get more video games, you'll probably come out the other end with a new understanding of what it means to be human. And I don't mean that even slightly as a joke. Hell, for that money, I could figure out why the Eastward soundtrack is so prevalent in this playlist. I could go play Eastward for the cost of the new Call of Duty. And this isn't even me bashing on Call of Duty specifically, because there are good Call of Duty games. Some of the Black Ops games I think are legitimately quite enjoyable. And Zombies, everyone has a memory of playing COD Zombies as a teenager with their friends, or at least everyone that I know does. It's a very, very common shared memory, just sitting around fucking drinking soda and playing COD Zombies with your fucking friends, right? COD Zombies is so good that I have said on multiple occasions that I would pay for a standalone COD Zombies just so I could play it with people who bought normal Call of Duty, you know? Yeah, see, that's the problem with talking about Destiny 2. From what I played of it, it seemed like a very enjoyable game, and I still like any MMO that lets me play as a sexy robot, because I am a sexy robot. But, like, when I saw some of the people on Twitter and whatnot explaining just how much content had been vaulted, and just how much of the storyline is genuinely fucking not playable for new players anymore, I felt like it was the developers of the game basically telling me that they didn't want me. Like if I wasn't on board and up to date with the lore, like I might as well just not bother, because it is literally physically impossible for me to ever be up to date with the lore again. And like the lore of the games that I play, for the most part, is pretty important to me, to the point where that was kind of the point where I decided to not get into Destiny 2. Like, I got to, I think, level 30 or so in Destiny 2 before I was just like, oh, yeah, no, it's over. It's done. I can't do anymore. But yeah, I don't think any Call of Duty has been worth it, basically, since Black Ops, and maybe not even then. Also, I mean, you can be caught up on the lore, but it's like, I want to play the stuff they've vaulted, and the fact that I can't bothers me. Like, it's going to piss me off forever, no matter what, that I can't play that content anymore. It's like learning about, like, MMOs that have shut down. Like, if you remember Cartoon Network's Fusion Fall, like, for a really weird, out-of-left-field example, that game went offline a while ago, and there's kind of part of me that's a little bit upset that I will never be able to experience that game, just because I've seen the screenshot art of like the anime Cartoon Network cartoons that were in that game, and part of me is just really upset, you know? Or like Toontown, if you remember Disney's Toontown, there's like 5 different projects to recode the servers for that game, specifically because people were so fucking off the chain hook ape shit about that game that they just wouldn't let it die. And yet it's like, I can play the entirety of Toontown on these recoded private servers, but I can't play like the first third of Destiny 2. That's the other thing about Fusion Fall. Like, I only played Foster's House Party when that was a thing, way back in the day. I played maybe 10 minutes of Fusion Fall before I got too interested in Gaia Online, of all things, to play Fusion Fall anymore. But like, from what I've seen of it, like, its cultural impact is more enormous than I could ever truly begin to fucking fathom. Especially just because, you know, one of the main premises of it was that the planet was going to be eaten by an evil alien overlord, and he was going to kill all your favorite Cartoon Network characters, which is just fucking wild as an MMO plot to just drop on some kids, you know? But honestly, I think kids need, like, more fucked up stuff on like, in existence for them. Like, just scary shit, like the Nickelodeon's Black Licorice game. If you know, you know. Or like Fusion Fall, just all of it. The kids just need weird shit that's gonna stick in their brain for 20 years until they become an adult, so then they can go on Twitch and be like, hey, does anyone fucking remember Fusion Fall? I still remember Endling by name because this mad lad gave Aku and him children and then made some stories about... What? Sorry, what? That was... Whoa. Sorry, hang on. No. We're gonna talk right here, right now. You're gonna explain to me. Do you mean to say that Fusion Fall had canon him and Aku Bapis? Is that what you are saying? Well, so with regards to, like, maybe not straight horror, but stuff that'll stick in their brains for 20 years, yes, absolutely. I mean, the best way that I can describe it is the Animorphs effect. You need something like Animorphs, because if you don't know this fact, Animorphs ends as a very serious anti-war message, where the genuine message is the only winners in war are the people who don't have to participate in war. And it's genuinely, like, a highly controversial ending to the series, because the moral about the big ol' war is that being a child soldier will ruin your life, and war is bad. And I know a lot of writers that if they hadn't been poisoned by Animorphs as youngsters, they just wouldn't be writers, and possibly they'd be bad people. Okay, not Fusion Fall, a webcomic by an artist that was eventually hired by Cartoon Network. Okay. Also, wow, the carousel looks good. Incredible. Why have I been asked to urgently clean a drill? Next Generation crossover comic about the kids coming from the main Cartoon Network cast. Huh. It's so weird how some cartoon channels are like, yeah, we love fan work so much we'll hire fans. And then some of them are like, if you make fan art of our characters, we'll have you drawn and quartered and killed. Is this the Dirt Finder General? I have been given your details by the mayor as a person who can wash things and keep the dirt to themselves. Meet Holy Moly, my subterranean mining unit. It's a one-man excavator that I used to scour beneath the Earth's crust for valuable mineral deposits. Well, not me personally, I just tell them where to dig. Anyway, you might find some unusual mineral traces during the clean. Please dispose of these judiciously. In this timeline, Aku actually killed Jack. Oh, poor guy. That looks like volcanic dirt. Hey, buddy. I have a question. Just a quick one. Just a quick one about what the drill's being used for. So the mayor is apparently drilling for minerals, or apparently some kind of pipeline. Is the plot of this game actually literally going to be that the mayor is drilling oil pipelines and causing volcanic activity and distracting from it with his cat? Blossom married Dexter, I believe Mandy became the president of the United States in a... You know, a lot of those storylines have simply not aged well in the modern political landscape, huh? This sounds like a predecessor to a comic that I am a very big fan of, called Scoob and Shag, where it's basically just, you know, an artist started off shitposting on Tumblr about Scooby-Doo and Shaggy, and then they accidentally turned it into an entire many dozens of pages long fucking, like, JoJo tier adventure sci-fi anime, which is something that I never, again, thought I would say on stream. That there is a sci-fi adventure anime with stand-like plots and powers about old Hanna-Barbera cartoons and also Scooby-Doo. Cartoon Network, like, the Cartoon Network era, when they had those bumpers of, like, Jack and Johnny Bravo doing laundry together, really did permanent damage to the creative landscape of the world. Like, damage might not be the right word, but, like, it had an impact that I think probably permanently fucking, like, cratered the creative landscape in the world. It's weird now that I can think of multiple comics where it's like, what if the Cartoon Network characters had very serious implications? What if Nickelodeon was incredibly serious, but not in like an edgy way, where it's a coma dream theory, but like in a way where Garfield holds the president at gunpoint at direction of the characters from Hey Arnold? Like, the best example I can think of is the existence of Garfield. The Lumpy Touch take on Garfield, where it's just Garfield as a horrible, meaty, eldritch monstrosity. I give Lumpy Touch credit for it because they've done a lot of work in actually like creating content of Garfield, but like, just the idea that Garfield is an eldritch entity, or like those comics where it's like, oh, what if Johnny Bravo had to go to therapy because Johnny Bravo fucking has weird self-esteem issues that we didn't get into in the show, you know? Unofficial top dog of the pressure washing game, but do you travel out of town? I've got a temple in need of TLC. Wouldn't happen to be a temple full of a bunch of monks who were recently almost hit by a big amusement park slide, would it? Next door to my farm lives an order of the nicest, kindest, non-verbal monks whose temple is currently caked in manure, top to bottom. It's a heck of a story. I'll fill you in as you go, but basically, they're not here right now, and I thought it'd be only right and neighborly of me to get it hosed down in their absence. Something to give them a boost for when they return. They sure could do with one. This is The Wind's Howl from Bugsnax. Presumably from a later area of Bugsnax that I haven't been to, because I've only played like the first hour of that game. I should probably get back to that game someday. So many games that I could stream, but then when it comes time to stream, it's like, oh, I guess I'll just play, I don't know, the game where I'm a sapient forklift today. Or, you know, I'll just be sitting here like, oh, it's time to stream. What should I stream? And it's like, oh, yes, we're streaming more goddamn Power Washer Simulator. Yes, more. No! Oh my fucking god, he's dead. So, where to start, says Annie. Annie Mall. Very funny. You know about the mayor's pipeline diverting all the water from the river to a secret mining rig, right? What? No, I didn't. What is he mining? Is he the reason the volcano's about to fucking go? Hey, Annie, I didn't know about that. These monks have relied on that river to water their crops for time immemorial, and now those crops are Dude! The mayor is starving monks? What the fuck, man? Yeah, imagine. If I didn't play Power Washer, I wouldn't have remembered Fusion Fall. Yeah. You know, I might actually make that a reward one day once I have a large enough audience to actually work towards, like, stream goal rewards. Have it be a sub-goal that I boot up a private server of Fusion Fall and I play some Fusion Fall. Because I know for a fact that there is straight up, like, you can download private servers and run your own private servers of Fusion Fall now. Because for some reason, like, fucking, when everyone learned that Flash was going offline, they all realized that they weren't messing around, and, like, none of the internet petitions to, like, save Flash were going to keep them from phasing it out. So they actually, like, a lot of people actually went out of their ways to do the work to preserve a lot of old Flash games and Flash MMOs and stuff like that. Like, I'm pretty sure people preserved the code for Gaia Online's MMO, ZOMG, until I'm pretty sure Gaia just straight up brought it back. Like, they actually managed to get it to a state where they could bring it back, and apparently it's just back, which is weird to think about, because I got really upset when I found out that that game had gone away, even though I wasn't that avid of a player of it. When I was younger, I went through a lot of weird video game trauma, because specifically, like, I would get enamored with a lot of different MMOs for like 20 seconds. Just long enough to play them and get like a real attachment to my character and everything I had in them. And then like the next day they'd be revealing like, oh, this MMO is shutting down. And it was always because I was choosing to play like weird niche fucking Scandinavian Christian MMOs where it's like, oh yeah, you're playing as an archangel from heaven or whatever. That I found literally through like banner advertisements on webcomics. That happened with N+. They saved so much of the original code, the creator released N++ with all those levels. That's fucking incredible, because N+, I feel like... N+ feels like it has almost a mythical status amongst, like, video games for me. Like, I played maybe 20 minutes of N+ when I was little. Like, I didn't really like it all that much, because when I was little, I didn't like precision platformers. But, like, it was one of the first games that was ever an enormous fucking smash hit on Xbox Live. Like, I remember a lot of kids played the ever-loving shit out of it back in high school whenever we had a computer lab. Some of the folks who were failing my journalism class because I wrecked the grading curve, they would just play N+ during class constantly. It's one of those weird, like, icebergs of gaming where, like, I've heard a lot about N+ over the years in the same way I've heard a lot about, like, Fez and The Witness over the years, but I don't really, like, have any strong urge to play them. And I will say the comparison is slightly unfair, because in the case of Fez, that has the whole drama of Phil Fish being the most laughable man in the world. And quite frankly, I don't actually enjoy Fez's gameplay all that much. But yeah, no, N+ seems ridiculously fun, and now that I've mentioned it so much, I'm actually going to tab out to add it to my Steam wish list. Actually, did N++ get a Steam release? Yeah, yes it did. It just doesn't come up first when you Google N++ on Steam for some reason. It's funny seeing the store copy where it's talking about, like, oh, N++ is a minimalist platformer game about satisfyingly darting through environments, avoiding obstacles, and collecting gold. Because I remember the original description of N+ was that you were a ninja doing ninja shit, and the reason you can wall jump is because ninjas can wall jump. That's the original description I remember of N++, so it's very funny to see them have to sort of rewrite the description over time as it's gone from a Flash game about ninjas back in the early thousands to a game that I'm pretty sure has a Switch port. Yeah, you are a ninja and gold extends your life. I remember now. I also remember, like, the early versions of N+ where, like, the whole goal was, like, not even the whole goal, but, like, the levels, there weren't a lot of levels, it was just literally that the levels were enormous, so finding the fastest route to move through each level to pick up all the gold was the challenge of the game. So they were literally just screen-sized speedrunning optimization challenges. I don't know if they ever changed that, or if that's still the current gameplay loop, because I haven't played N+, again, since I was like 14. Maybe even before that at this point, honestly. I always kind of overestimate when I stop playing Flash games religiously. I should have one stream where I just go back and I try and remember all the Flash games that I used to actually play and see if they're archived on Flashpoint, because, like, I played a lot of Flash games as a kid that I feel like just haven't been archived. And, like, if I actually looked through Flashpoint's archives, I probably wouldn't actually, like, be able to find some of the more obscure crap that I ended up playing. Yeah. Had to complete the courses in the grid. We could go fast, wouldn't be able to complete. Yeah. So, yeah, it sounds like an early version of sort of like Seum and Neon White almost, where it's just like speedrunning optimization challenge of the game. And, like, fucking Seum and Neon White and all of those, like, speedrunning focus games are also wildly popular. In a desperate act, the head monks sent them out on a pilgrimage of faith. I know not where they went, only that they brought a multitude of eggs with them. I think I know where the monks might have went. I have a couple of guesses. I'm not going to say anything, though, because I am on the payroll of both sides at this point. So I am cleaning off their monastery, but I did also, I think, just clean out the excavator that the mayor is using to divert the river.
But it is the same misery that is all around us.
This is really... This is a song from the Risk of Rain soundtrack that I'm pretty sure has sampled Werner Herzog in it, which he's a pretty bleak guy. But this song title is A Glacier Eventually Farts, parentheses, and Don't You Listen to the Song of Life. I have nothing to say except what the fuck? Old Flash game that inspired Devolver Digital's Disc Room. I can't remember the name. Maybe it was The Cube. You had a bunch of different ships and it was sort of a roguelike. I only remember the name of the ship I used. Gamdal, and I wish I could play it again. You know, Flex, if you go in the reviews on Steam of Disc Room, you can probably find someone who will mention the game by name. Because I remember going back through a bunch of, like, re-releases of old Flash games, and they mentioned just like, oh yeah, this game is just blank, but better. And I was just like, oh fuck, I played that game for 90 hours as a kid. The only sort of like Flash games from that era that I truly remember now that I am grown up, I remember the Evil Concarne Flash game on Cartoon Network, where you had to basically spend your funding on a bunch of weapons to use on your opponent, and then you had to like play rock, paper, scissors to try and destroy your opponent with all your weapons, and it basically just played animations at one another until one of you lost. And then also, in addition to that, it was another Cartoon Network Flash game. It was the Ed, Edd n Eddy food fight game. And I remember that game incredibly well because I remember I had a very good strategy for annoying my friends in that game. Because I think I had a multiplayer that we would set up in the computer lab and just, like, legitimately play for whatever reason. And it was to run into the fridge and you actually picked up the frozen turkeys. Because the frozen turkeys, when you threw them, they were like basically one-shot kills because you were throwing a frozen turkey at someone's face. But I have really, really strong memories of that game because it was one of the only competitive shooter games that I ever got good at. I'm not good at Siege, I'm not good at most games, but I'll fucking destroy you at the Ed, Edd n Eddy food fight game. Oh yeah, I remember the Kids Next Door Flash games. Operation Ice Cream is the one that springs to mind as like the one that I can remember. Just because it had very distinctive like sound effects and level design that I still remember now. But I know there were other ones that I played. Like there were a couple like side-scrolling platformers for Kids Next Door that I remember I played the fuck out of. I just couldn't name them by name off the top of my head. I played a lot of the Foster Home for Imaginary Friends like house party game, which was weird because that was like an MMO they wanted you to play like over the course of multiple days, like after school or whatever. And so like you played a self-insert character and they made you do chores over time. And basically you could only do so many chores every day. And as you did those chores, you basically earned points towards doing like an actual interesting story mission. But now that I'm thinking back on it, I'm realizing like how much of a genuine fucking waste of time and a time sink it was. Because like you needed to straight up check in every day for a full week in order to actually play like any of the fun gameplay. So I think that game was just them trying to trick kids into doing more chores. And like, it's not like it worked because I wanted to skip my chores so that I can instead play the Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends game. Like, any game where you try to teach kids chores are fun is stupid because at the end of the day, I would rather be playing the video game about how chores are fun rather than doing the chores. As evidenced by the fact that I'm power washing in a video game rather than going out and becoming a power washer in real life, you know? Even though one of the central talking points of these streams has been how much that would actually cost me. The whole chore games are fun movement. I don't remember that specific one, but I do remember like the general attempt back like in the early thousands just to like make chores fun for kids, and like the whole, I guess it kind of went hand in hand with the participation trophy thing, which you know, I am of the opinion that the real failures are the parents who are giving out participation trophies, because it gave us all an unrealistic expectation for how often people would give a shit about you, like, being helpful and doing good and all that stuff. That's what I think of participation trophies. I don't think they made people weak and soft. I think they made us overestimate how frequently anyone would give a fuck about us. And it's very depressing that nobody seems to give a fuck. But like there was this whole movement where like it's like, oh yeah, we gotta trick kids into wanting to do chores and like exercise. Like there was the whole like get out and play an hour a day movement with Michelle Obama, where it was like, oh yeah, you should go outside and run around playing for at least an hour a day, kids. And like, I don't know about y'all, but it wasn't as a kid that I knew it was unhealthy to be inside all day. It wasn't that I didn't know it was unhealthy to be inside all day. Like, I knew it was bad for me to be inside all day and on my computer like a big fucking fat ass, right? Because my parents were very frequently like, oh, you gotta go outside, you gotta fucking, if you don't go outside, you'll get diabetes and your butthole will explode, or whatever, right? So, like, that's not something I was unfamiliar with. It was just that inside, right, was where my computer was. And inside, well, the monks were gone, they got a twister, apparently. But inside was where my computer was. And on my computer was Skype. And on Skype and on Steam were all of my friends who played video games with me. And also the video game Team Fortress 2. Outside, when I was a kid, when I was old enough to play video games, you know, outside was not where Super Mario Brothers was, and it was not where TF2 was, and it was not where Flash games were. So why the fuck would I want to be outside? And like, I wasn't even in one of the regions of the country where like the actual issue is the outside sucks. Because there's a lot of places in America and even in the greater wide world where just going outside sucks. Because there's nothing to do outside. Because outside is where cars are. There's cars and there's strip malls and maybe a 7-Eleven. Like, that's the thing. It's not even a matter of admonishing kids for doing what they do safely. Like, I understand sort of the impetus to be like, you know, we want kids to be healthy. Because, looked at the numbers, right, for how my knees would have turned out if I had human knees. And I would have really messed up my knees if I had, you know, continued to have human knees as I had grown up. But, like, putting slogans on the TV that are like, get up and play an hour a day. Like, why? Who gives a fuck? And yeah, a lot of the time, like, that's another aspect of it that you do bring up that is a good point, Flex. Like, a lot of the time, it wasn't even a matter of, like, we want our kids to be healthy. It was just old people being upset that we didn't want to go play hoop and stick out in traffic. And it was really difficult to explain that we were living in an era where, like, playing hoop and stick in traffic gets you run over by a Honda instead of slowing up traffic because everyone is on a horse-drawn buggy. thankfully had the good fortune I have never been stung by a scorpion. It sounds pretty awful. I have been pretty explicitly told by basically every safety source that I was given on scorpions as a kid, because I did grow up in scorpion territory, and I actually grew up in scorpion territory that is considered more dangerous than a lot of places. But I was always told, like, for the most part, you don't even need to take scorpion stings to the hospital unless you're allergic, because it's just gonna hurt. Like, it's just gonna hurt, and they're probably not going to be able to give you anything for it, because they'll need a very specific anti-venom if they even have it, you know? So my advice was just don't get stung by scorpions if you can avoid it. And if your foot starts turning purple, then you should probably go to the hospital. But then again, maybe the adults that I knew just wanted to get me killed by a scorpion. That's also entirely possible, thinking about it, because it was definitely just a bunch of Akovian Empire scientists pretending to be people. And I say pretending to be people, because let me tell you, members of a fascist empire are not people. The only thing members of a fascist empire are deliciously human flavored. Hey, that's fucked. Hey, Flex, not to be too rude here, but that's fucked. Especially because I'm pretty sure certain wheat allergies can straight up manifest as schizophrenic syndromes. So, like, your mom is out here like, all right, time to make Flex see the Hat Man. This Hat Man has been passed down for fucking generations through the Debiceps family line. Like, that's not a joke. Apparently, some wheat allergies can straight up mimic schizophrenic symptoms. I remember I read a case study recently. There was a lady, she got checked into a psychiatric ward because she changed her diet without consulting a nutritionist. And she didn't know that she had a massive wheat intolerance, and she started hearing voices and, like, just staring at the wall for 4 hours a morning because, like, her brain would just have wheat and then check out. I would feel pretty bad if I came home and my temple was covered in cow shit from a freak tornado. I gotta say, it's beginning to seem more and more like Muckingham's real problems are, like, to do with bizarre freak microclimates and the mayor trying to drain the river. Yeah, that might be something. If you ever start, like, seeing things or, like, dissociating really badly, you should actually talk to a doctor about. It's not super common, but apparently, yeah, certain, like, gut disorders. And this is weird because, like, it gets a lot of crosstalk from anti-vax crackpots, because anti-vaxxers think that vaccines will stay alive in your intestines and cause autism or whatever, which is not true. However, you can have psychological effects from eating wheat if you have a wheat allergy. That is a real thing that scientists have observed. So just be careful, because there is weird crosstalk from the vaccine community of all places. And yeah, that river was probably keeping the volcano from erupting somehow. Like, I'm not an expert on water. I just use a power washer for a living. but usually when you have like rivers and lakes, those rivers and lakes are usually keeping something bad from happening. Like if you go back throughout America's history and you look at any of the fucking if you look at any of the American civic projects that have been like, we want to drain the lake. What are the effects of draining this lake going to be? They always do the calculations and find out that if they drain the lake, it's gonna like cause the local church to catch fire. Like apparently they actually did the math on what would happen if they dammed up the LA harbor and like completely prevented the flow of water in the area underneath the Golden Gate Bridge. And it's a real good thing they did the calculations, because otherwise half of San Francisco would be fucked. Sorry, did I say LA? I meant San Francisco. Used to suffer from real bad memory loss, for example. People used to think I had short-term memory loss, but nope, it was wheat. Yeah, so, yeah, that is, fucking wild, isn't it? Like, I think I've talked about this on stream before, but something like half of the human body's neurons are in its guts, and that is just because your stomach has to, like, regulate the bacteria inside of it. And like a lot of your cravings are caused by the bacteria in your stomach secreting toxins that make your stomach hurt. But the human stomach is scary. Like I don't trust that shit. As a big bag full of digestive chemicals, I don't trust anything that has a small bag of digestive chemicals inside of it. You know? That's scary. But yeah, over half of the neurons in the human body are just down there in the stomach. A very interesting practical example. Have you ever had that feeling where after about 45 minutes of not eating, your stomach will hurt really, really badly, and you'll be like, oh god, I gotta eat something. But you can actually go for a really long time. Like once that stomachache goes away, a lot of people will be able to go for a really long time without eating and not even notice. Like a lot of people who hyperfixate, they'll get a stomachache for a little bit, and then once the stomachache goes away, they just won't feel it, and they won't eat for 12 hours. That is actually because the bacteria in your stomach start getting upset that they don't have sugar a lot sooner than your body does. So that little stomachache that you get is actually the bacteria in your stomach basically poisoning you to try and get you to eat more sugar. And so once the bacteria in your stomach realizes that it's not getting any more sugar, it settles down and stops mildly poisoning you. Yeah, that is a sugar stomachache, basically. That is low blood sugar. That can be a lot more dangerous for diabetic people, specifically because their bodies don't regulate blood sugar as well. And that can actually be a sign that their blood sugar is about to fucking tank and get them sick. Also, since apparently you're playing this game alongside me, yeah, I can give you my power washer tips. The upgrades that you most want to rush, get the whole thing cleaned off, tell them the Twister gave the temple a sacred hose down. That's alright. That's a nice lie to tell to a religious man, I think. I don't feel bad about lying to the monks like this. But, for the most part, you are just going to want to rush, the next power washer, for the most part. Like, you get all of the tips right off the bat. I would say, for the most part, don't buy the soap nozzles, because they're completely useless. The soap nozzles... This is going to sound like a silly criticism for a power washing game, but these soap nozzles are pay to win. As in, there is a limited supply of soap that you can buy, and they cost a certain amount for a certain amount. And the soap nozzles are just really wide nozzles that are very effective on everything. So you're literally just preventing yourself from getting later upgrades, like the extensions and whatnot, by paying for soap. And the soap nozzle itself, even though it's really, really wide, doesn't actually clean anything off unless you're using soap. So it's completely pointless, in my opinion. If you don't buy the soap nozzles, you can actually just get a higher grade power washer way quicker. And the higher grades of power washer make the jobs go a lot faster. The extra long extensions even can tend to be unnecessary, just because they'll make it really hard to get close to a surface. The extra long extensions, basically, like, if you're right up next to the wall, having the extra long extension on will keep you from power washing as much of the wall. It's only really mandatory for the level where they actually, like, give you the voucher for one. So in my experience, get the short extensions, get the long extensions, avoid the soap nozzles, they're just pointless. Which is different from real life, because I'm pretty sure in real life to actually, like, clean surfaces that are really caked on with grime and lichen and all that stuff, you do need to spray them down with soap so that the soap can just sit there. And actually, one of the things that I have a lot of memory banks of is janitorial information. So here's a janitorial tip from Void Puppy to you. Always check if a chemical has a dwell time before you put it on something. A dwell time is how long you have to actually keep the chemical on a surface in order for it to do its job. Many disinfectants and cleaners have a dwell time where if they're not left on a surface for, say, 5 to 10 minutes, or even longer than that in some situations, they just won't work. Some cleaners are in fact meant to be sprayed on and then wiped around and then left on to dry, because the drying action of the cleaner is what actually kills the bacteria. So you should always check to make sure that your chemicals are supposed to be wiped off before you wipe them off. Otherwise, you might just be wasting time. For the cleaning advice, Flex. I'm glad that I could help. I hope you enjoy your groceries, and yeah, you know, thanks for thanking me. You know, not everyone always thanks me for the incredible job that I do streaming Power Washer Simulator like 4 days in a row. You know, it's really, really hard work sitting here just fucking rambling as I hose down a temple. That's facetious, of course. This is a chill stream. It's not that difficult to chill when I have such an excellent audience. So yeah, I hope you have an excellent day, and, you know, as always, thanks for coming out. And listen, now that my friend is leaving, if you're watching the stream and you're not following the channel, I'm just going to take this as an opportunity to do one of those calls to action they talk about that supposedly make people follow your channel. Follow the channel. If it's not optional, you must follow the channel. I am speaking directly now to you using all of my dog powers. Follow my channel. That is all. Monks are actually monks too. Because looking at this place, it definitely looks exactly like... it looks like a temple to the idea of Vikings. Like, not a Viking temple, not a temple to any of the Nordic gods or anything like that. And certainly not one of those, like, pseudo-fascist lodges where they're obsessed with their, like, Nordic heritage as proof of, like, being part of the pure white race or whatever gross shit they're up to. But just from, like, the embellishments on this temple, it does look like a temple to the idea of Vikings. I don't know what a barge board is. Ah, I see. Door decorations? I assume... Oh, there's a figurehead. Is there a door back here? No, there's not another door back here. What door decoration could they be talking about? Oh. The big one. Huh. I could have swore that that one had registered as clean when I moused over it, but I guess not. Cyclogenesis, which is the song playing right now, is hands down one of the best songs in Risk of Rain. If you think otherwise, you're wrong. That's all there is to it. You are just wrong. And that's okay. I hope you'll come around from your opinion of being wrong sometime very soon. But until you do, you are simply wrong. Any chance you can clean up my abandoned washroom? If I have to see this game's UI label a stain as poo explicitly, I'm gonna get really upset. They said you were the best, and now I'm a believer. The temple looks immaculate. It's gonna give them such a lift, and I can look forward to many more years of free labor on the foot. Wait a sec. Annie. 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 I think I accidentally helped the cause of evil today, folks. Looking at both of these jobs actually take a really long time, from what I remember of them. So I think I'm actually going to save these until next stream, because we've been going for a decent while today. I hope you all enjoyed the stream today. I'll probably be power washing again soon. Maybe not next stream. Next stream might be something different, but I will definitely be power washing again soon. And I appreciate you coming out, and I love each and every one of you. And I am giving you a kiss on the mouth, because I love you that much. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Have a beautiful day, everyone.